Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol reveal breakdown. And today we are taking a look at the panel to play for Mr. Namor, the Submariner. I'm not actually 100% sure how you're supposed to say that, but one of those two things. It's Namor. And yeah, really exciting character. We actually got a little peek at him during a stream that was happening, I want to say, by Professional Casual Network yesterday at time of recording and time of upload, because I'm uploading this probably about an hour after I finish recording it. But yeah, so we'd already kind of seen some of his stats at that point if you were able to catch that game. But now we have the actual panel to play. So yeah, I'm excited to break things down. I think there's a couple things shown here that weren't shown there as well, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get right into things. So Namor is coming in at a 5 threat. He's going to have 7 stamina on both sides of his card. Yeah, both sides of his card. He's got 4-4-3 defensively, so reasonable defensive stats right out the gate. A long mover on both sides of his card, which is also really nice. And he is a size 2, so already a solid start for him, but he has some really interesting things. This model has tons of amazing design space, so I'm really excited to talk about some of the things they've done with him. So first things first, he's coming in with 2 attacks, and I believe, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, that nothing changes between the 2 sides of his card, so we are just going to look at the front side here. And his first attack is a Trident attack. This is a range 2 6 dice physical attack. It's going to build you power equal to the damage dealt, so your standard builder text there, but it also has before damage is dealt, this character may advance towards the target small. So it's got a pursuit on it, basically a guaranteed pursuit. And yeah, that's just good. It's also before damage. I think pursuit is usually after the attack is resolved. And I don't know how relevant that's going to be for him. I guess it's really good against some other potentially before taking damage effects. I actually can't think of any situation where it matters that it's before damage instead of after, but it's cool. It's good to have. It's interesting on range 2. We usually see pursuit on a longer range attack, so that's something different already. Not that it's particularly noteworthy. But yeah, just a cool extra thing to have on your 6 dice builder there. His next attack is his spender. It's only a 3 cost spender, so it's not too expensive. It's a range 2 as well, and it is a 7 dice attack. It's also on the physical side, and it's called Armies of the Deep. Each time this attack is chosen, this character may use one of the following effects. So you can have a swarm of crabs be your Army of the Deep, and it says before damage is dealt, the target character drops all asset tokens it is holding. Really, really important that it does specify assets, not civilians, so this will only work for some scenarios, not all of them, but still having an objective drop on your spender, and I believe the first shield affiliated objective drop, oh no, that's not true, because they have Spider-Woman. So still good to have the options. Yeah, so obviously very, very solid objective drops are quite good and very, very relevant in the current meta of the game. So already really nice effect to have as an option. But if they're not holding an asset, maybe you're not playing one of those scenarios, or you just have more valuable things to do with it, you have 2 other options here. You can use Octopus Grasp, which is before damage is dealt, other enemy characters within range 2 of the target character suffer 1 damage and are pushed away from this character small. Or sorry, from the target character small. So a nice little way of getting some area damage out there. Yeah, that's solid. You do have to know before you roll the dice though. So, you know, if you're banking on getting the kill on the main target, or I guess days on the main target, or either way actually, because it's before damage. And you would have chosen Swarm of Crabs. Otherwise, you do have to kind of, call your dice ahead of time on that one. So yeah, still really, really solid effect. It's basically explosive force. If I'm not mixing that up with something else. But yeah, really good. And then the last one is Wave of Turtles. After this attack is resolved, this character may immediately interact with any number of objective tokens without spending power. If it does, after all effects are resolved, this character may advance small. So that's really nice. You drop someone, you drop their tokens, you get to pick them up for free, and then you immediately get to advance away small. Fantastic. Yeah, that's a really solid ability too. I think all 3 of these are great options to have on a spender attack like this. So yeah, really, really liking this attack. It gives you some cool variety. There's lots of decision points to be made, and Yeah, I think all of that's really, really good. So definitely looking forward to seeing how that kind of plays on the tabletop. Going into superpowers, he has an active superpower called Imperious Rex. This is a 3-cost superpower, and it is going to take one of your actions, and it is basically Thor's for Asgard. So it says this character immediately makes a move action followed by a trident attack. If this attack deals at least 1 damage, the target character gains the stagger special condition. This superpower can be used only once per turn. So almost word for word the same as Thor's. Obviously, it's a different attack that it's using, but yeah, that's solid. It's a charge, that's good. It's a charge that can give out stagger, that's even better. Now, of course, one of the things that Thor is kind of lacking, that makes this not as good on him as I think it will be on Namor, is dice consistency, but we're gonna get there in a moment. His next superpower is Atlantean Might. During the power phase, this character gains 1 additional power. So again, I'm really drawing a lot of parallels with this guy to Thor specifically, but the Asgardians in general. So yeah, he's got that. That's definitely nice to have, especially on a long mover that I believe he's believed to be on a medium base as well. So that's really, really good. You can do some stupid things with that early game. So really nice to have there. And then it also says, and this is really interesting, I don't think we've seen something like this before, but it says damage caused by this character's attacks and effects cannot be reduced or prevented by superpowers or team tactics cards. This is really interesting. Namor just suddenly became one of the best counters in the game to models like Beta Ray Bill, Thanos, really anyone in the damage reduction, whether that's an Iron Man or Luke Cage or any of the tons of models in the game that have a damage reduction. Namor says no, he does not care. Cannot be prevented either. I believe that'll get around exceptional healing. That's also insanely good. This is going to get around Xavier's Dream. So many things. Yeah, this is a really strong superpower in the current meta where those types of abilities are very, very common and very, very strong. Definitely an amazing model for the current meta that the game is in. So yeah, that's just fantastic. That's going to help your consistency on getting damage to get that stagger through. That's going to help your consistency just in general with building power or being able to deal the damage that you want to deal with your spender. So yeah, this is insane. It'll be one of those things. We'll have to see how it actually hits the current meta and whether Namor will have the kind of shakeup that I think he might. But this is really strong, and I think this is immediately going to be something where you can consider splashing Namor for this effect if he's not already affiliated wherever you're going to be running. So yeah, really, really strong. And then his last thing is Charismatic Leader, and this is basically Zemo's Strategic Genius. This character and allied characters within range 2 of it may reroll 1 die in their attack and defense rolls, but notably because it's not called Strategic Genius, unlike a couple other instances of this ability out there, it is stackable with Strategic Genius. So if you run one of those models with Namor, you can definitely now be rerolling 2 dice in your attack and defense rolls, which is really, really good. So yeah, this is fantastic. This is going to help you again with consistency on everything. It makes your defense a little bit better as well because I'm not going to call him a glass cannon. He still has a lot of health and he still has good defense dice, but he also doesn't have amazing defensive tech. So yeah, that'll help him on that regard as well in a big way. The last things on his card here, he does have flight, which makes sense. So again, long mover, possibly a medium base with flight. Yeah, that's pretty solid. And then he also has Gem Bearer Time, which is really nice to see. Not because I think it's necessarily going to be amazing on him, although I don't think it's bad. The extra power you're getting from it means you have your charge online round 1 or Armies of the Deep online every round. So I do like the idea of that. I don't know how often you're going to want to pay to actually use the time stone, but the extra power in the power phase is really nice. I don't know if it's worth making him a 6 threat, but still really, really solid. What makes me happy about this is that it's been a while since they've printed anyone who has the ability to wield a gem. So I'm glad they haven't forgotten that that mechanic exists because I think it's a really cool mechanic, and I'm glad we're seeing that again. So yeah, this is awesome to see. So continuing on here, like I said, I don't think anything changes on the flip side. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, no changes here. Continuing on past this, though, we do see some more interesting things here. They talk about all of his superpowers and things like that, and it even specifically refers to Thanos as something that ability to ignore damage reduction is really good into, because yeah, that's really good. Um, but then we get a couple of tactics cards here. One we have already seen before is the Invaders Leadership. We actually tried it out in a somewhat recent battle report on Steve Rogers' Captain America. But for those who are unaware, it is a shield leadership card. It's obviously a reactive card because of the weird timing of when you actually play it. But it says after deployment, an allied Namor, the Submariner, or Steve Rogers, Captain America, may play this card. The character that played this card gains the following leadership ability, and it is the Invaders. Of course, it is a shield leadership, and it says allied characters may reroll one defense die. Additionally, they can modify and reroll skull results while they are within range 2 of another allied character. And this is reasonably nice for Namor because he does have that reroll ability on his card, that not strategic genius. I've already forgotten what it's actually called, but um yeah, that's just solid. It's a reasonably solid leadership ability, very, very similar to Miles Morales' leadership ability, but of course, instead of contesting or holding objectives, it is based on being within 2 of allied characters, so a little bit more central map focused. And that is nice for Shield because they already do like a lot of those more central maps, like E maps and things like that. So yeah, that's a solid card, and I think Namor probably likes the leadership slightly more than Steve, although he doesn't love having a target painted on his back. So could be interesting. There could be a reason to bring both there, of just kind of give the leadership to Steve and then have Namor just kind of run around doing his thing. But yeah, solid leadership, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And like I said, we do have a battle report featuring that leadership on the channel if you're interested, and I'll maybe throw a link up to that up on the screen right now, or maybe in the description, one of those two places. But yeah, that's a cool thing. The other one is a newer card, and that is Prince's Protection. This is an unaffiliated reactive card. When an enemy character within range 3 of Namor the Submariner targets an allied character with an attack, Namor the Submariner may spend 2 power to play this card. Plays Namor within range 1 of the attacking character. Namor becomes the target of the attack regardless of range and line of sight. After the attack is resolved, Namor the Submariner is not. If Namor is not dazed or KO'd, his name is way too long. He may push all enemy characters within range 2 away small. That's a lot of text, but it's a really cool card. So this is kind of like Heroes for Hire, and I'm emphasizing the word kind of because it is different in a lot of ways. So the enemy character, the attacking character, is within range 3. So it's not your ally being within range 3. So that kind of makes it more like a too dangerous to ignore, like a taunt style bodyguard card here. Which is cool because I think all of the bodyguard cards are bodyguards, not taunts. Then he spends 2 power to play this card. He places himself within range 1 of the attacking character. Now, note he can play this when he is the target of the attack as well, so he could just play this card when he's being attacked to teleport himself into your opponent's face, which I think is kind of cool. They do already have to be within range 3 of you, though. And then he becomes the target of the attack regardless of range and line of sight. After that attack, if he is not dazed or KO'd, he pushes all enemy characters within range 2 away small. So, great way to really screw up someone's point late in a round. I mean, he's very likely to be Defenders affiliated, and they're about to be extremely strong on things like Researcher. This card will be extremely strong on things like Researcher. So yeah, I love it. I love Heroes for Hire as a card. I love Lethal Protector. I like Comrade's Keeper. All of those types of cards. Those are my bread and butter. So more of those. I will take those all day long. Yeah, this is just great. So definitely a fan here. Yeah, really, really interesting card. I think it's probably really solid, and I'm looking forward to trying this out. So that's a really neat one. Going through the rest of the thing here, there isn't much. We got the cool splash art thing here, and yeah, that's about it. I was hoping they were going to talk about where he might be affiliated, because there's a lot of places he could be affiliated. Right now, the only one it seems like they've given us is Shield, just for that leadership. So Unfortunately, we don't have any further information at this time about where he might be affiliated, but still, there's a lot of things to be excited about here. He's a really interesting character with a lot of cool design space that they haven't really used yet before. Between things like this ability to kind of like select your attack mode on armies of the deep here, that's really neat. I think we've seen similar things, but usually not quite to this extent. Ignoring damage reduction is a really cool thing, and I hope they're careful not to do too much of it, but I'm glad that we have it in the game. I think it's really cool. My only kind of complaint with Namor here is that he kind of just makes Thor feel sad. Um, Honestly, I look at him and I look at Thor, and now I'm like, oh, I acknowledge they do some different things as well, but Namor is just like he does a lot of the same things better. It's really just that charge. That charge is really comparable to Thor, and he's just natively faster, which I'll also throw out there. That is a charge on a long mover, which is really, really good. So yeah, um, really powerful character. I think we're definitely going to see him played probably in a lot of places. I think he's going to be really, really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays out on the table. But yeah, that is going to do it for this kind of character reveal here. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you guys excited for Namor? And of course, he's coming with Black Panther, Chosen of Bast. So let me know if you guys are excited for this box. I definitely have warmed up to it. I was originally a little cold on it. I wasn't a huge fan of really either of the characters. I'd never been a big Namor fan myself, and I'm not super excited to see a third Black Panther, but they're doing really interesting things with Namor on his card and what he actually does on the table. So that's making me very, very excited to try him out because he seems like he's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely this has suddenly jumped to being a box that I am very interested in picking up and trying out because he seems really, really cool. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me? Do you think he's going to be a good character, too strong, maybe not strong enough? Very curious to hear what you guys think down below. But that's going to do it for my rambling. So, yeah, until next time, hope you guys all enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.